Good morning, everyone. Benderman here with Futures Trader Elite for NQ pre-market prep on 8/8 of 25. Let me find this chart and get it up here. Oh, that's not. Okay, we'll start with this. This is the 60-minute or the 1 hour chart. This green line right here on the bottom side is a larger time frame, 1 hour. This here I put in on the 1 hour, but we're going to go over this trend line on another chart. And then this is the 1 hour bearish line. You can see throughout the week that NQ has really been on this trend, uptrend. We've had some pretty good swings up and down. And then we got some zone boxes here on the 1 hour. Right now the price is currently at 23,569. This first zone box I got on the 1 hour is at 385. Notice that this bigger 1 hour line runs through this box, but I don't think this is going to drop anytime soon right here into this. And it's really when a trend line is inside a zone box plus price is inside the box all at the same time. You could kind of come up here and draw a zone box right here in this little area here. Let's just, for instance, say we're gonna keep an eye out in case there is a little pullback here in a few hours or something from 461 to, let's say, 497 for now. Let's say this price comes up here. This right here would definitely be a short if this were to get into this trend line inside this box. First touch, I would probably put up some risk to go short, at least for some scalping, and maybe let one ride. Get out pretty fast, 5 to 10 points, maybe let one ride. The only way I would not take this trade is if this is grinding up and it's pretty close to it and just pierces through. If it did sweep right here, though, I might buy one contract for it to suck back down inside this trend line. It could be a trap if it sweeps, gets a spike out of there. That's all I want to go over on the 1 hour chart. Let's get another chart up here. I don't have a chart either. Let's do this chart. So this has also got the 1 hour lines on it. This line down here is the larger time frame, 1 hour. This one here is a 1 hour. Let me show you what I mean by that. Let me move this over to the 1 hour real quick. So this is on the 1 hour. This trend line goes back further right here. So it's way, way, way back further. Unless I put that on the 4 hour. Let's look at the 4 hour real quick. Okay, that was on the 4 hour. I'm sorry. That larger one is on the 4 hour, the lower one. So let's drop this back down to the 1 hour chart. We got a 4 hour trend line down here. This other green one is the 1 hour. This red one up here is a 1 hour. NQ is pretty bullish. You can see that after that big pullback, and it's been on a steady swinging up high, back down, swinging up higher, back down. Now we're consolidating in this little zone box here. I just put this in. this morning. And then this is the 1 hour. I want to switch back down to the 15 real quick. I know I got that the futures trader blueprint, formerly known as the $300 blueprint. It's back on Gumroad and on PayHip. If you want to take a look at it, it goes over a particular strategy and execution that's good for beginners. It can go a lot deeper. I'm going to be putting out a 2.0 version soon that goes over a lot more than just a 15-minute, but we had this 1 hour green trend line here. This blue line is the 15-minute. I wanted to bring this up because I know some people have gotten that blueprint already. So we got this 15-minute and price is up here. This is a 15-minute line down. Let's say that this price chops around and for some reason we get a pullback in this area before or between now and when the market opens. A pullback to this zone box, especially if it gets close to this trend line, say it's coming down and working its way down, but then we get a drop right in here somewhere. Even if it's, even if it dropped back here and went past the zone box, but hit that 15-minute trend line, I'm putting up some risk right here, probably with at least 1 to 3, probably 3 contracts. Because I believe that if we come down and hit this 15-minute trend line with 3 contracts, you can turn that probably into $1,000 real fast on a bounce. It'll probably, if it happens, it'll happen fast. That's usually how these moves do happen. They happen fast. It's just like when it come down here, when this was put in, this was before this 15-minute line was here. It went into this zone box, wick down. I mean, this wick right there with 3 contracts would have been $1,200 or better. But you'd have to be quick and know, I think that you would have had to been watching some other things on the chart, that might give you a sign that it's going to go back up. But I mean, if you could have caught this close to the bottom here in this area, this wick, you got 3, 6, 9, 12. You would have been $1,500 by the time that set back up with 3 contracts on NQ. And then when this happened, this candle was put in, and then this little buy signal was put in when this MACD crossed, I would have stayed in this, and no more than likely I probably made a video because I was probably in this trade. I'd have to be go back and look, but I'm sure I probably took it down here back to the zone box and probably caught some of that up there. But the biggest thing I want to focus on is the fact that what if this drops here before the bell opens into this box right here, especially getting close to this trend line, like I said. Very well worth the risk. Now, if we don't get that drop and it's a buyer's market here, let's say in the morning, and this decides to break this 15 and start driving up, that 4-hour trend line, or I mean at 1 hour up there, the red line, I'd be risking to put some risk up to go short off that, at least on the first touch. You got to remember that the first touch of any major area, a lot of times you're going to get the opposite direction. It don't mean that it can't keep going down, but the first touch reaction, you can get it in scalp, whether you're up here going short or down here going long. It almost never fails that way. But that don't mean it can't keep going. You might get the touch, the bounce, and reclaim it back down this way. So that's why you got to be fast, in and out. Or use trailing stops or however you trade. I do everything manually for the most part. Unless the ATR is pretty high, I will use an ATM, but right now I don't have any. When my system crashed, I lost all that too, so I got to rebuild them. I had like 15 or 20 ATMs built, but since I don't use them every day, I'm not too concerned with building them right now, maybe over the weekend. Let's drop this down to the 5-minute. I'm going to put, try to put my fibs on this 5-minute. So we got, I guess this is around the low overnight. I guess we really hadn't moved a whole lot. Yeah, there's just not a whole lot of movement there. I'm not going to put the fibs on the 5-minute yet. I'd like to wait and see, but we can switch back to, let's say, the 1 hour and see if we can find some meaningful highs and lows. All right, I'm going to pull some fibs here just to have a look on the 5. I'm going to go with this wick here, and then I'm going to go to that wick, that high right there. And then let's switch back to the 5-minute. Let's scoot these over. That was about right there somewhere. So right here we got, that's that 15-minute trend line up there. You know, depends if it stays in this box and chops around. It's going to have to get back below this box. You know, right now the way this is looking, you got a left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Here's the neckline right here. If it busts through, say 560, this will be to the downside for maybe a little while. Come down here and look at this MACD on this 5 minutes. Looking like it's draining off, wants to go under the 0 line. Now might be a short play right here. And then if we can stay under this box, I'd be aiming for this 15-minute trend line. That would not be that far. I mean, we're around 565. It's around 492. So, I mean, that's not that far for NQ to drop. If that was 100 point, well, I mean, I guess if it gets down here, yeah, that's about 100 points by the time it were to get to that line. Yes, I'd definitely be taking a long down here on first touch. Now, if the market opens and it's getting crazy or whipping around, or the ATR gets too high, I might sit out on this. You know, just because these boxes are here and the zone boxes are here and the trend lines are here, don't mean that it's an absolute risk. Put up some risk to take the trade because it's A+. It really also depends on the speed of the candle and how it got there. I mean, if the ATR is low and this is just a pop drop algo going on, and then it just finally gets to it, that's not the same thing. But if we're getting some whips in here and we get over here somewhere and it's down here and just big candle on the 1 minute, get you in there, most definitely worth buying. Here's the pivot point. I know I talk about these acting like a magnet. That's sitting at 507. Another place you can see back here when we got this drop. It barely went through it and sucked back above it. So something else to keep on an eye on. Back here it went up, come down, found support. Just so happens that it's in line with that pivot point. Then it went up and chopped, come back down around that pivot point, back up. So what if there's a good chance it revisits its pivot point again? We'll see. I guess that's all I'm going to look at for today. Just quick so you can see the zones down here. This is the 15 minutes. Say that NQ goes to the downside again today. If we break this 15-minute trend line and break through this zone box, then keep in mind this is the 1 hour down here going through another zone box, and this box down here is about 200 something points, and we all know that we can get down to there. It really just depends on which way they want to take it today, and they could take it both ways. They could take it one way in the morning and take it the other way in the afternoon. Say that they want to take this up. I mean, it's not like we're not within reach of all-time highs, but first we need to get broke through this 15-minute, break through this 4 hour, and then we got that zone box up there, which starts at 685. So, but first you would have to take out this high at 670, but all this right here, this is something, we'll put a line in here. Let's say right there. This ain't the all-time high. This is just the high from last night, I think. Yeah, and I need to move my fibs a little bit high, but let's change that to pink. Oh, yellow. We'll do yellow. So we'd have to get back to that and then still cut through that zone. Now, here's the thing for the people that might be long. Let's say we're trading and we're bullish and we get through this line, and then we gotta get through this high. But if we do, there's a zone box. So you might want to be thinking, maybe I should stay on my long, see how this happens. We got some more pivot up here, another pivot, resistance line. There's a good, let's say it comes up here pretty good. What you got to watch out for is sweeping past that line into this box. And just on a 1 minute candle, it could sweep through here and then suck all the way back down under this high right here. So, you got to be careful with these plays and get, especially this is a lot of move right here, and to still be trying to go long up here. If it sweeps and sucks back through, you could be in a bad trade. You want to see it break above this high, close, maybe even retest this high or chop around, push up into this box and chop around, might swing around before it goes up. If we can break this box up here today, we'll probably go on for all-time high or to try to tag the high. Something to keep in mind. If you guys like this content, like and subscribe to the channel, leave me some comments. If there's something else you want to go over or want me to go over, just let me know and I will try to put it in the next episode. Hopefully I can do a recap at the end of the day when the trading day is over. And good luck to everybody, and I'll see you next time.